buzzers, and welcome to the first edition of Buzzworthy, a podcast that is brought to you by the Hype Incubator, a place where your ideas take flight. My name is Tim Lulua, and I would be your guide to navigating the exciting world of startups, entrepreneurship, and innovation. So, if you feel like this is your space, don't forget to give us a like, share, and follow for more. Also, turn on your notification button. Thank you very much. Before we dive in further, here's a question for you. Which do you think is the most important for startups? Money, networking, or mentoring? Would like to hear from you in the comment section. All right, let's start from the basics. What is an entrepreneurial ecosystem? An entrepreneurial ecosystem is basically like a set of support structures that help businesses grow. Think of it like a beehive where everyone has a role to play. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Solomon Samuel, a startup mentor who has worked significantly in shaping the startup ecosystem in Nigeria. Mr. Solomon, thank you very much for being here with us today.
It's great to be here.
Okay, so first of all, let's ask a question. What inspired you to choose the startup, the entrepreneurial ecosystem toward a?
Okay, it all started with a session I had with one of my mentors. So during this session, my mentors was having a session with entrepreneurs and startup founders, and we was having a discussion with them, running a pretty much design thinking process with them, asking them a few questions on how you got to the problem you want to solve, how is your reaction of your users towards this problem. Then it kind of caught my interest. I was like kind of intrigued because before then I've had this experience, or I've spoken to a few business owners and entrepreneurs, but there was a side to it that I was just being exposed to for the very first time. This was people really thinking about the problems they are trying to solve. They were basically businessmen that were not trying to solve the regular problems that other businessmen were out there solving, like selling stuff or um, not. Don't get me wrong, selling stuffs are great, but you brainstorming and thinking about new ways to solve a problem in the society was very intriguing to me.
Oh, wow. Okay. Actually, I think that's very nice because that's one of the things that also sort of motivated me. Because when I started seeing people with like amazing ideas, I'm like, wow, if only these people actually got the resources that they need to move further, I can just imagine how great the country's economy would be. Okay, Mr. Solomon, just as you said earlier, you heard a lot of people with amazing business ideas out there. Now, how would you think, or how important would you say funding and networking is important to startups?
So basically, I realized that as beautiful as any startup founder idea can be, or as beautiful as any startup um, idea they have maybe towards solving a particular problem, with the lack of funding or the lack of networking, there's a little much they can do because they have finite resources. Because in the startup ecosystem, there's what we call bootstrapping. So bootstrapping is a moment where a founder or entrepreneur end up funding a business idea by themselves and taking that product out to the market. So if a founder is caught up in a situation where they are just basically funding a business idea themselves, there's a limit to what they can do. So funding and networking is paramount, and it's important to the survival of any startup in the entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Okay, actually, you're very right because I don't know. I feel like I've always worked with someone. I'm also a business that spends so much of their time trying to get money to take their business to the next level. And eventually, by the time they got this money, there wasn't like a structure put in place for them to like move the business to the next level. So it's not like they got the money, they just kept buying and buying and buying. There wasn't enough publicity. There wasn't anything that kind of made the business move forward. Okay, Mr. Solomon, there are several investors out there and there are even more founders out there. But the issue is a lot of these people do not know how to access these investors. And even when they access them, a lot of them don't know how to pitch to them. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Yes.
Now, how would you say, or what would you say founders, startup founders should know before they approach investors?
Okay, so basically, all investors or firm that have fund, they tend to have what we call investment thesis. So the way it works is, as an investor, there are areas or there are industries where I'm interested in investing in. For example, an investor may be interested in just funding female startups. They may just be interested in just funding startups from West Africa. So various investment funds have investment thesis. So this is one of the things that I tell founders: before you reach out to an investor, be sure of that investor's investment thesis so that you can align yourself and beforehand know if whatever problem you're trying to solve fits into the investor's investment thesis. Then follow up with the founder has to be sure they understand the problem they're trying to solve. I walk into a meeting with a startup founder and he's pitching the idea. At the end of the day, when we're having a conversation, I now realize that this founder does not in any way understand the problem they're trying to solve in-depth, like in-depth understanding of what they're trying to solve. So you understand your problem, you understand the investment thesis of the investor, and at the end of the day, you have to understand how much do you need. Okay, I like what you're selling to me. I like the idea. I like the problem you're trying to solve. We have had this conversation that okay, I've narrowed down that okay, you are focusing on the niche I'm interested in, but you don't know how much you want to get from me. Because you knowing how much you want to get from me sends a signal that you understand your finance to a certain extent. Most founders they feel that okay, financial talks are talks when I want to finally raise a round or when I'm concluding raising a round or we have gotten to a place that we're doing due diligence. But when you don't understand your finance beforehand, I as an investor will understand that okay, running a big apart from you being a startup, I'm solving blah 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 idea, I'm getting this done in an innovative way. You are still running a business, so you should have the basic understanding of your finance. So if you don't have a hold of your finance, basically, I just look at it that okay, you're not ready to get funding from me as an investor.
It's more like you're just playing around.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, I understand. So Mr. Someone, I understand that you're one of our mentors here at the High Incubator. Now, how would you say, or what would you say, incubators like the High here can do to make more impact amongst startup founders out there?
Okay, so we pretty much I have all the entrepreneurs that do come into the hub and all the entrepreneurs that reach out to me. I let them know that incubation is different from accelerator and it's different from a VC. So basically, we as incubation help you first of all to have this foundational understanding of what problem you're trying to solve. As earlier mentioned, when you understand your problem properly, you understand your finance properly, you can now get funding from investors and you can pitch your idea properly with um, clear goals and clearly state what you want from your investors. So what we do at the incubation hub is to try and mold these entrepreneurs, give them these strong foundations, both in their finance, them understanding their finance, budgeting, runways, and how much they need, and them understanding the problem they're trying to solve. Because first of all, if you don't understand the problem you're trying to solve, what make you think that you can actually secure investments from external individuals? So you have to understand the problem you try to solve. So when they come into the incubation hub, we mold them, we refine them, and we make them better investment options for investors out there.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now we've already heard your part, and we're really, really excited about that. But now, if there is a startup founder out there that is listening to you, what advice would you give this person? This person is lost. This person just knows, oh, I have this brilliant idea and I want to bring it to life. What would you tell them to do?
So basically, the first thing I would tell startups founders, they should not be caught in a limbo where they see a problem and they assume that, oh, this problem is everyone's problem, which is not actually true. You might be solving a problem for people that have hair, and someone that is bald is not necessarily interested. I am solving a problem for someone that is bald and someone that has hair is not necessarily interested. You have to be sure of the market size of the problem you're trying to solve and be sure that this problem you're trying to solve is not just a personal problem where you just figure out that okay, people have so problem. And again, after discovering, okay, if people have this problem, are they willing to pay for this problem? Because when you understand this, it leads to series of a lot of questions. Are they ready to pay? How much are they really ready to pay, because we call this pinpoints. Pinpoints are problems where problems users can pay to get off their hands. So everyone have a problem. Literally, both billionaires, both normal people, everyone have a problem. So basically, you have to figure out the problems that are pinpoints to the particular users you are targeting. So basically, they should just be sure that the problem they are trying to solve, people are willing to pay for it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Somo. It's so lovely to have you here today. So now, three major things that you must take away from here today. First off, everyone has a problem. Secondly, funding is just as important as mentorship. Also, know the amount of money that you need. Don't just be like, oh, I need about. Know the exact amount of money that you need so that you would always be pitch ready. You never know where you're going to meet an investor. You never know when you're going to meet an investor. So also try to network as much as you want. That's a wrap, guys, on today's episode of Buzzworthy, a podcast brought to you by the Hype Incubator. If you enjoyed, kindly like, share, and follow us. Also, if you are watching from YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notification because there will be more coming from us as time goes on. If you have any questions, kindly send us a DM at the hello@thehypeincubator.com, and you never know, you might win an opportunity to get featured on an exclusive series with us. Until next time, keep innovating, keep buzzing, and remember, at the Hype Incubator, your dreams take flight.